timeouts left. The Lakers have two. Bryant.
Shaquille O'Neal will always be remembered as one of the largest humans to ever play in the NBA. Or maybe you'll just remember him for having a never-ending list of nicknames that includes things such as the Diesel, the Big Aristotle, Superman, Shaq Fu, Shaq Daddy. Yes, as dominant as a player as Shaq was, he was just as fun and charismatic as a person. Was this due to a good heart and lighthearted caring personality? Or was it a result of Shaq's quite literal big head? Because I bet if you were to ask a player like Kobe Bryant, he would say it was the latter of the two. Shaq did indeed butt heads with some teammates over the years, and perhaps some of his antics may have rubbed people the wrong way. That's not what this video is about though. Welcome to NBA Zone, and in today's video, we'll be focusing purely on the effects of Shaquille O'Neal and his on-court presence. Was he a positive influence or a more negative influence? If so, why is this the case? We'll be digging deep into the story of Shaq's career and giving you all the information you need to answer the question, how good was prime Shaquille O'Neal? Before we get into that though, make sure you guys and gals subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications by hitting that little notification bell. Now, let's talk about Shaquille O'Neal.
Here's Shaq. Against Dudley. Nice. Shaquille O'Neal was so powerful on that move that Dudley.
Shaquille O'Neal was born on March 6, 1972 in Newark, New Jersey, to his parents Lucille O'Neal and Joe Tony. His father Joe was actually a great basketball player and was an all-state talent in high school, even receiving an offer from Seton Hall. He struggled with drug addiction though, so Joe failed to stay present in his son Shaquille's life. This information gives us a bit of insight to Shaq's genetics though. Maybe, just maybe his father Joe may have been responsible for putting basketball in Shaq's blood. Unlike most in Shaq's situation, instead of turning to the streets because he didn't have a father figure to discipline him, Shaq returned to basketball in boys and girls clubs to occupy himself in his spare time. Once O'Neal got to high school, he moved to San Antonio, Texas, where his stepfather was stationed in the military. This is where Shaq would find his true love in basketball, and it's where he'd not only become a local legend, but a nation's top recruit. At Robert G. Cole High School in San Antonio, O'Neal led his team to a 68-1 record over 2 years and helped the team win the state championship during his senior year. His 791 rebounds during the 1989 season remains a state record for a player in any classification. Performances like this would help O'Neal gain attention, and pretty soon he was the player everyone wanted, but only one would receive. Shaq would continue his playing career at LSU. He wouldn't just take basketball seriously though, as he would take his education just as seriously. As far as basketball goes, O'Neal was a 2-time All-American, 2-time SEC Player of the Year, and received the Adolph Rupp Trophy as NCAA Men's Basketball Player of the Year in 1991. His great play at LSU would net him looks from scouts, and the NBA was no doubt the destined future for Shaq. So after 2 years, Shaq was on his way to the league, but that didn't keep him from continuing his education. By the end of Shaq's days in the classroom, he had finished and acquired his doctorate degree at LSU. That's really besides the point though. What Shaq was about to do in the basketball world was really what the buzz was all about. To no surprise, O'Neal would be selected with the first pick in the 1992 NBA draft by the Orlando Magic. His time in Orlando was short, but very interesting. His rookie year, he averaged 23.4 points, 13.9 rebounds, and 3.5 blocks per game, which if you're unaware, that's absolutely ridiculous. Unsurprisingly, this would win Shaq the NBA Rookie of the Year award. In his second year, the Magic had drafted Penny Hardaway, who Shaq would pair with like butter on toast. These two would lead the Magic to a 50-32 record that year, while Shaq would be a first-time All-Star and be voted to the All-NBA third team. And the next year, the Magic's record would improve even more, and Shaq would improve even more as a player. The team went 57-25 during the regular season and made it all the way to the 1995 NBA Finals. They would be swept in 4 games, but Shaq played very well. That season he finished second in league MVP voting, and in the finals, that level of play wouldn't taper. He averaged 28 points, 12.5 rebounds, and 6.3 assists per game. This was setting O'Neal up to be an absolute force in his 4th year. Unfortunately, he would miss 28 games that season due to an injury. It didn't affect the team though, as they would still improve, posting a record of 60-22. Once again, misfortune would strike the Magic come the playoffs. That misfortune just so happened to be one of the greatest teams of all time in the 95-96 Chicago Bulls, who had just finished the season with a record of 72-10. Needless to say, this Jordan and Pippen-led Bulls team would sweep the Magic in the Eastern Conference Finals. This gave Shaq a major decision to make for his NBA future, as he would become a free agent after that season. During his tenure with the Magic, Shaq had developed a bad relationship with head coach Bryant Hill. Coach Hill wouldn't be fired during that offseason, so Shaq decided that it was time for him to go. He would go to the Los Angeles Lakers. Shaq would continue to improve year after year and would hit his prime come the 1999-2000 season. This would be Shaq's absolute best year during his nearly 13-year prime. He would average 29.7 points, 13.6 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game while winning the league MVP award while playing for the LA Lakers. During his time with the Lakers, Shaq would win 3 NBA titles and would be the MVP in all of them. Nearing the end of his Lakers years, Shaq would butt heads with an up-and-coming star at the time that you may or may not be familiar with. That would be Kobe Bryant. That's too long of a story to tell in this video, but this feud would cause Shaq to flee LA for Miami, where he would join another up-and-coming star in Dwyane Wade. During his time in Miami, Shaq's numbers would obviously take a bit of a dip due to playing with other scorers. This would prove to be effective though, as in just his first season with Miami, away from his rival Kobe Bryant, Shaq would win his 4th and final NBA championship. Unfortunately for him, this would be the end of his days of winning. Shaq's effective days were starting to be numbered, and his stats had taken a huge dip. Come the 2008 season, he would be traded from the Miami Heat to the Phoenix Suns. This was pretty much it for Shaq. He would have one decent season with the Suns, but then would have 2 more measly years with the Cavs and the Celtics. This would mark the end of Shaq's career. Today, Shaq is an NBA analyst for TNT, father of 5 kids, one being Shaquille O'Neal, who even after a major medical operation is still a top prospect going into college next season, and basically just being the ultimate jack of all trades. He's taken up everything from law enforcement to acting, video games, TV, martial arts, advertising, wrestling, and even rapping. Maybe you recall Shaq's diss track on LeVar Ball.
How you think that? I'm about to spit facts. I walk in Reebok in 92, I came out with them Shaqs. I've been doing this a long time. When you was averaging 2 points, riding a pine. You see my t-shirts, you see my feet work. Big baller brand, that was me first. How many parades did I give them LA?
With all that out of the way, and before we end this video, let's revisit the player Shaq was in his prime one last time. During his best years, Shaquille O'Neal was maybe the most dominant post presence this league has ever seen. He stood at 7'1", 325 pounds. This weight was majority muscle. Shaquille O'Neal could overpower any opponent on the block, match his superior physical nature with his skills in the post, and you have one of the biggest offensive cheat codes in NBA history. He would have been an all-time great, be it just offensively. Then you throw in the fact that Shaq was one of the most elite rim protectors of all time, averaging 2.3 blocks a game over his entire career. Now that's an all-time NBA talent. Over his career, Shaq's accolades would consist of 15-time All-Star, 14-time All-NBA selection, 3-time All-Defensive selection, 2-time scoring champ, 4-time NBA champ, 3-time Finals MVP, and this would all culminate to him being inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. He's even forgiven Kobe for the tension between them in years prior. In my opinion, Shaq will be cherished more and more as time passes, but I want to know what you guys have to say. Your turn to answer the question that this video poses. How good was prime Shaquille O'Neal? Is his career overrated? Was he everything he said to be? Or has he been unappreciated as a basketball player? Tell us what you think and give us your reasoning down in the comment section below. Let's start a dialogue, people. Anyways, that's going to do it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, then why not go ahead and drop a like and subscribe to the channel. I hope to see you again, and thanks for watching.
3 timeouts left. The Lakers have 2.